That's the wrong theme, Cam. Just because McConnell's in here, that doesn't take precedence over the Murder, Inc. stuff. You got to get me pumped.
Keep it rolling, Cam.
There you go. Good boy, good boy. He's my rack man, not yours. He's my rack boy.
You mean it's not nighttime?
You know what a rack boy is?
I'm afraid to ask. What's a rack boy?
Every guy, if you made enough money, you'd want a rack boy. That's the kind of guy whenever you're shooting pool and you win, you just say, rack him, and it's his job to put all the balls in the rack. He's my rack boy.
Hey, Cam, you don't rack my balls at night.
He better not. He's my rack boy. 688-CKTB, 1-877-610-CKTB, and pound 610. That's a free call on your Bell Mobility phone. I'm Yancy Deering. Rob McConnell here, too. Rob, we got the Big X Symposium going on this weekend, Ramada Parkway.
327 Ontario Street, yep.
I pass by it every day on my way home. In fact, when I moved here, I lived there for like the first 4 or 5 weeks. I'm very familiar with the place.
They miss you. They still have a bar stool with your name engraved in gold.
Yeah. I think I paid for a couple of bartenders' tuition for a year there, just in tips alone.
Really? What kind of tips did you give them?
High dollar tips.
Really?
Yes.
That's when the American dollar was equal to 2,000 Canadian, right?
Yeah, now it's only, what, 1,500?
That's about
something like that, yeah. But also a guest here who's kind of the featured speaker at the X Symposium, ERIK von DANIKEN. Sir, pleasure to have you on the program. You're like the world's greatest UFO guy, right? Isn't that that's what I'm told?
Not at all.
I'm told you're number one when it comes to UFOs.
I never saw a UFO, but I'm the world's greatest in extraterrestrials who visited this planet some thousands of years ago, not in present. UFO is present time problem.
All right.
Yes.
I agree. Now, here's just to give you my general philosophy. I figure our sun's one of a whole lot of stars. Mm-hmm. We could borrow by Carl Sagan and say billions and billions. But that being the case, I think that it would be rather egotistical of us here on Earth to think we are the only living, thinking beings throughout the whole universe or other universes as well. My guess is you're probably on about those same lines.
Well, absolutely, I agree.
You've written about, was it 15, 20, 30, a couple thousand books on UFOs.
I have published so far 24 titles, starting with Chariots of the Gods.
And that's the biggie.
No, that was 33 years ago or even more. In the meantime, 24 books with a total edition of 56 million copies in 28 languages.
At $1.50 a copy, royalties. My God, you're worth a lot of money.
You're paying him to be here?
What's wrong with this picture? It's like working here.
That's pretty good. Let me ask you this. What is the closest or the most largest piece of information that you have that says that an extraterrestrial has been to this planet?
You have to differentiate between two things. One is pieces out of holy writings, holy books, thousands of years old, and hard evidence, holy writings. Take the old Indian writings, the Sanskrit texts. In there, you can clearly read, at some time, long time ago, gigantic cities circled around the Earth in an orbit. From these cities, smaller vehicles descended to the planet. The old Indian called these smaller vehicles the Vimanas, and they described it so precisely, also the discussions they had with these extraterrestrial crews, that it was easy for us to reconstruct these Vimanas, these flying objects, on computer animation. I will show them on my lecture.
Now, if they were here, how many years ago are you talking?
About 3,000 to 4,000 BC.
So about 5,000 years ago.
Yeah,
so if they were here 5,000 or 6,000 years ago, why haven't they been back since?
There are two things to know. First, the distances in the universe. We speak about light years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not likely that they will travel in a short time from one planet, from one solar system to the next one. But you cannot exclude that. Maybe they have a technology which we don't understand, which is higher than the speed of light, which is still speculation for us, of course. Maybe they have it, and then we are in the field of UFOs. It never ends that people say that something is out there observing us. Now, I, for myself, I never saw a UFO. But I do believe, in fact, because I have so many good informations from good friends, also from the scientific community, that, in fact, something is out there, and they are fair enough not to destroy us, and not to, Okay, I'm sorry for
turn us into slaves or just use us for their own will.
Shock us.
Yes.
To shock us.
But you say that at one point they were here and did have discussions with Earth beings.
True. For example, in one of these discussions, the man asked his heavenly teacher, "Where do you come from?" And the teacher, the extraterrestrial, points to the stars. He says, "From up there." The man continues to ask, "What are you doing here?" The answer is, "We are observing you." And then he also says, "We take something from you, but we also give something to you." I never understood what they took from us. I really don't know. And finally, the discussions end by asking, "Are you coming back once to this planet?" And the extraterrestrial says, "Yes, it will take thousands of years, but we will return. Do not forget it, hand it down." Still today, every big religion, is it Christianity or the Jewish community or the Muslim community, they all have the expectation of somebody to come back from up there.
When do you think the last extraterrestrial was here and had contact with somebody from Earth?
You cannot give an exact date because all these stories have been handed down over and over and rewritten, so you never know what is the starting point. But the Maya, the people of the Maya in Central America, they have two calendars. Now, it's too complicated to explain this, but just come to the point.
Especially for my small mind.
Now, every calendar has a starting point, and the starting point is something very, very important to a people.
Yeah.
For us, the starting point is the birth of Christ. So it's something important. Now, if you calculate the Maya calendar back into our calendar, if you transfer it, the starting point is August 11th, 3114 BC. Now, in the Maya books, they say that was the date when the gods descended from the sky. So 3114 BC on August 11th, according to the Maya calendar.
Outside of the year, that's pretty close to my birthday.
You know,
I think there's any connection there. I was August 14th. Could I
it's
be
pretty
one
close
of the
to the next August 11th.
When's your birthday?
August 14th.
Hey, Cam, we better mark this down. Yancy's birthday is October 14th. Yeah.
I'm pretty close to the gods from the sky. I like that. That's good.
Yeah, okay.
The guests are ERIK von Daniken. Also, Rob McConnell's here. He's going to help me out because he's much smarter on this UFO stuff than I am, and extraterrestrials and whatnot. And also, we'll get more about the X Symposium taking place this weekend. But I do have room for you at 688-CKTB, 1-877-610-CKTB, or pound 610. A free call on your Bell Mobility phone. 416 now. Yancy Deering on Newstalk 610 CKTB.
I'm Doug Hobbs, CKTB Sports.
Thank you, Dougie.
All right.
Sorry about that. We were just talking about you. You're okay with that, aren't you?
Yeah, well, hey, listen, McConnell's in there protecting my best interests.
That's right, I am.
That's right.
I am Uncle Doug.
Doug.
Yes.
Well, since we're doing everything about the paranormal and parapsychology, you're a very famous magician in your own right. Why don't you drop by and see us?
All right. I shall do that.
Thanks a lot, Doug.
All right, Dougie, we'll see you. It's 420 at 610 CKTB. I'm Yancy Deering. That Rob McConnell hosts the X Zone here. And ERIK von Daniken, who's published a lot of books about UFOs, extraterrestrials, and whatnot. And, Rob, before we get to the phones, because they're starting to line up here, the X Symposium going on today, tomorrow, and Sunday.
From 9 in the morning until 9 at night. Now, tomorrow afternoon, the speakers finish at 2 o'clock. They are going to be doing private book signings throughout the evening. ERIK von Daniken will be there, as well as another good friend that we have, Giorgio Tsoukalos. Now, Giorgio is the co-founder and the chairman of the Archaeology, Astronautics, and SETI Research Association, based in Ithaca, New York. Now, the organization was founded by ERIK von Daniken, and ERIK asked Giorgio to take care of it over here in the United States and Canada. And we've been very fortunate to have Giorgio on the lines with us a number of times. And, of course, tomorrow night when we broadcast live from the Ramada, ERIK von Daniken is going to be a guest. Giorgio is going to be on air. And the X Symposium, 9 to 9. Until 9 o'clock tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday, 9 to 9. Day passes, $25. You get in for the entire day, all the speeches, all the lectures, all the presentations, the exhibition. A 3-day pass is $50, unlimited entrance.
So that's the cheap way to go.
It's the best way to go.
Go every day. Each day is different, right? We're not seeing the same thing each day.
Each day is different, and of course, Erik's is the keynote speaker. He has a 2-hour presentation every day. It is multimedia. We have video, we have slides, and we have audio. So when somebody comes there, we have a giant screen that is 15 by 15. We have a very wonderful sound system. And what we're doing is we're recording the entire lecture series for release later on CD.
Really?
Yes.
You never miss a trick, do you?
I try not to. You've taught me well, boss.
I try. Before I get to the phones, because I know that I'm hogging Erik up here quite a bit, stories in the last 100 years of people saying that they've been captured by a spaceship or captured by aliens or that they've talked to aliens in the last century. Do you have any proof of that actually happening or not happening?
I don't have any proof, but I know some scientists like Professor Dr. John Mack, Harvard University,
yes,
who claims to have proof for these exceptional cases. But as I said, for myself, I have no proof, and I never even saw a UFO.
And then you've got other researchers like Bud Hopkins, Dr. Roger Lear, Daryl Sims, and a group of other quantified doctors and physicists as well as keynote investigators who have formerly come from the CIA and other government investigation agencies who say, yes, we have the proof. Yes, people have been abducted. A statistic that came out in 1997 from the U.S., CNN, 70% of all Americans believe they have seen a UFO. 40% of that 70%, Yancy, believe they've been abducted.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding. That is a CNN poll.
Have you been abducted?
I sometimes wonder, Erik. I sometimes do. But I do know that when I was 5, I saw something in the skies over Montreal that I have not been able to explain to this present date. And it opened up my mind to the questions that I seek to find the answers with people like Erik von Daniken, George Youssoukalis, and the other wonderful speakers that we have.
What do you say we go to the phones, eh?
Sounds good to me,
The audience
Bob.
at large, 688-CKTB, 1-877-610-CKTB, or pound 610. That's a free call on your Bell Mobility phone. Hey, John Carphone, you're on with Erik and Rob.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Hey, Guy, how are you?
Could you talk a little bit about the Piri-Reisi map?
Yes.
Because that always fascinated me.
Well, you know, Piri Reis was a Turkish admiral, and he made a map. He drew his map in the year 1513. At that time, the Antarctic was not known and, of course, not discovered. But on the Piri Reis map, you have the Antarctic, and this very, very precise, with every little island which today is under a mile of ice. So this is one of the mysteries. We have no explanation how this happened. But the fact is here. The Piri Reis map, the original, is still at the Topkapi Palace in Istanbul in Turkey.
I find that fascinating. Just so I've seen pictures of them, and it's just incredible. They're incredibly accurate.
You see, I have a speech today and tomorrow and after tomorrow, and this is a mixture between slide and videos, and there you see the most incredible things which I discovered in the past 5 years. It's really absolutely amazing.
When were these maps drawn up again?
1513.
Wow.
And then you've also got the Dogon tribe in Africa, who were able to draw the solar system as seen from the furthest planet away in accuracy. How do these people know about this?
That I don't know. Anything else, John?
No, that was all. Thanks very
much.
much.
I appreciate the call. Hey, George in Toronto, what's shaking?
Oh, hi, Yancy.
Hey, George.
I guess some people say I should be abducted after hearing this, but
we can only hope.
Erik, it's nice to talk to you again, and welcome to Canada. I just want to ask a question. I was going to actually make a little joke, but I think I won't do that today.
Well, that's a first for you, George.
Well, Susan set me up for this one, so I'm not going to do it.
Always blame Pretty Susan. Huh?
Oh, why not?
Yeah.
You're talking about in your books about the civilizations in Central America, Egypt. What do you think about China and their civilization?
Well, the problem is I was never in China because you could never travel there. Of course, you can travel to China as a tourist, but I never want to go as a tourist. But in China, we have wonderful mythologies. And still today, the dragon mythology is well known and even practiced in China. Now, according to China mythology, the first emperors came with a dragon from the sky. What dragon? In reality, in evolution on this planet, an animal like a dragon never existed. Something like a fiery dragon did not happen in the evolution of man. So where does that dragon come from? Who still today, they practice this with loud noise and firework and so on. So that's one of the mythologies in China.
George, artifact that the ancient Chinese use as what happened when feng shui was discovered, that the turtle came out of the river with these magic markings on its back, and then the turtle left. And the turtle, according to ancient feng shui masters who have passed on the information from generation to generation, the turtle was a UFO.
Well, Rob, you know me, I'm always a skeptic, I guess.
Yep.
And I want to give our ancient people a little more credit. And the joke used to be you give Tino and Joe the credit for mixing the mortar for the pyramids. And let's not forget the small people who put it together. And even to this day, a lot of the people out, even on construction sites, I've seen many people who can do fabulous things, but they're never given the opportunity. So I'm just wondering if it wasn't aliens, or was it just our own intellect who grew at that time?
Of course it was our own intellect. Here I am misquoted since 30 years.
Well, this should be cleared up.
No, sure. Some of the scientific community always say that ERIK von Daniken is the one who said that extraterrestrials, they constructed temples, pyramids, and so on. This is all rubbish. Of course our own forefathers did it. The question is, what for? Now the nearest answer is they did it for the gods. So go on and ask, which gods? That's the point where I come in.
Well, that's what I asked you before about the belief in God, and I was wondering, is the religion the driving force, or is it truly an alien that came down? That's the question I always ask.
Look, some thousands of years, according to my knowledge, this planet was visited by extraterrestrials. At that time, our forefathers were living, seen from a technical point of view, as primitives. They did not understand what was going on, and they believed that these extraterrestrials are some gods. Of course, this is nonsense. We all know there is only one God, the creation, the spirit of the universe. But at that time, our ancestors believed that these extraterrestrials are the gods. So it went into mythology, into tradition, and into the buildings, constructions, into the believing of the people.
But sadly, what do we say about modern religion then? We should throw it all out.
No. I mean, every modern religion has finally what Christian calls God Father, or what the Muslim community call Allah. Now, let's assume just for a second that I am basically right with my ideas. So, okay, we would have been visited. So what? We have to ask, where did these visitors come from? How have they become what they are? Now, you could speculate and say they were visited again from another solar system. All right, and so on. Go back for billions of years, it doesn't matter. Finally, you arrive to a starting point where, in all respect with the religion, you have to confess, here is God. Here is the creation. I never lost my God.
George, I got to move, but I appreciate your call. And ERIK von Daniken, the guest, as well as Rob McConnell, host of the X Zone and proud host of the X Symposium, taking place this weekend at the Ramado Parkway Inn, Ontario Street in St. Catharines. It's 4:30 right now. Let's get a look at time saver traffic.